Part 1. She always wanted control. I always knew my mom was the controlling type, but I thought I had learned to manage it, distance myself when I needed to, redirect conversations, keep certain things private. I thought I built boundaries, but nothing prepares you for what happens when your mom turns your wedding into a battlefield. Let's rewind. I'm 29F. And I got engaged last year to the love of my life, Caleb. He's 31, calm, steady. The total opposite of my emotionally unpredictable mother. We met at work, clicked instantly, and after 2 years of dating, he proposed during a weekend getaway in the mountains. It was perfect. The kind of moment you dream about until I told my mom. Her first reaction wasn't congratulations or I'm so happy for you. That was fast. Followed by a sigh, followed by a weird distant smile and well, we'll see how it goes. I should have taken that as a warning, but I didn't want to believe she'd try to ruin it. My mom. Be expert to understand the level of manipulation I'm talking about. You need to know my mom. She was a wedding planner for over a decade. Before she retired, she's opinionated, always right in her mind, and believes emotions are tools to control other people. She's also obsessed with appearances, hers, mine, the family's. Her motto growing up was, "What will people think?" So naturally, she assumed she'd be planning my wedding. I had already decided to go with a small local planner I loved. Someone younger, creative, super organized. The moment I told mom, she just stared at me, then she smiled too sweetly and said, "Of course, it's your day." It felt wrong, too easy. I should have known better. The undermining begins. The first few weeks were fine. Or so I thought. Then I started getting strange emails. Venue coordinators asking about revised decor preferences. A florist who said my mother had called directly to adjust the bouquet sizes. Even the DJ messaged me, saying, "Just confirming we're no longer doing the modern playlist you wanted." Wait, what? I started calling vendors to confirm. Turns out my mom had been calling them, pretending to be me or saying she was my delegate. She changed things she didn't like, swapped out the playlist I created for her own classic favorites, doubled the number of centerpieces. More is elegant. She told the florist, asked the caterers to add dishes. She liked that. I had explicitly removed due to allergies. I confronted her calmly. "Why are you contacting the vendors?" "I already told you I have a planner," her response. "Oh, honey, I'm just helping. You're so busy. I thought you'd appreciate the support." When I told her to stop, she got defensive, said I was being ungrateful. Sighed she. Didn't. Realize I wanted to exclude my own mother from the most important day of my life. I stood my ground. Told her firmly that she was overstepping. She cried, like full-on crocodile tears. Told me she just wanted to be part of something. And because I'm human, and honestly, because I didn't want more drama, I said fine. But I asked her to run everything through me. She agreed. She was lying. The white dress incident, fast forward a month. I was picking out my dress with my bridesmaids. Mom wasn't invited to that trip because, well, I wanted a stress-free experience. I told her it was a girls-only outing. That wasn't entirely a lie, but it definitely didn't include her. She didn't take it well, but she pretended to be okay. Said she was busy that weekend anyway. Then came the engagement party. It was a backyard event at my best friend's house. Casual, fun, lots of food and laughter. Everyone wore summer florals and pastel tones, and then my mom walked in, wearing a white floor-length lacy gown, not a cute white sundres an actual bridal-style dress. People literally turned their heads. Even Caleb's mother looked stunned. I pulled her aside. "Mom, what are you doing?" She looked down at herself like she was confused. "What? This? It's just a dress." It's not my fault people don't understand elegance. I told her it was inappropriate. She said I was being overly sensitive and jealous. Jealous of her at my engagement party. The guest list bombshell 2 weeks later. I sat down with my wedding planner to finalize the guest list. I'd worked hard to keep it tight, just under 90 people. Close friends, immediate family, a few co-workers. We'd even created beautiful digital invites with personalized notes. But when the planner pulled up the list, it had 127 names. Wait, I said, this isn't our list. She looked at me, confused. Your mother sent me the updated version. I felt my stomach drop. I scanned through the names. She had added her friends, not her coworkers. 3 women I hadn't seen since middle school, and who bullied me, even a guy she had once tried to set me up with. I was furious. I called her that night. She answered on the first ring. I saw the list, I said. She didn't even try to deny it. Well, I knew you'd forget people. I just thought I'd help. I told her to take her list and burn it. I told her if she wanted to throw a party for her own friends, she could do it after my wedding. But she wasn't going to hijack my day. She hung up on me, got the ultimatum a few days later. I got a text from my dad. They're divorced, but he still talks to her occasionally. He said she was upset and felt uninvited. Then she called me, and I should have just let it go to voicemail. She said, if you're going to treat me like this, maybe I shouldn't come at all. It was the exact manipulation she always pulled. Reverse psychology. Guilt. Abandonment threats. But for once, I said nothing, just silence. She filled the space with more anger. Said Caleb was clearly behind this. Said I was choosing a man over my own mother. And then she said something I'll never forget. You'll regret this. You're going to ruin your wedding all by yourself. She hung up. Part 2. The wedding planning war after my mom hung me. I sat alone at my kitchen table, holding my phone like it had betrayed me. Caleb walked in from the other room, took one look at me, and said, she's still trying to control everything, isn't she? I nodded, but I didn't cry. I'd already spent too many years crying over my mother's emotional booby traps. This time I was angry, but more than anything, I was tired. Tired of defending myself. Got tired of questioning my own decisions. Tired of trying to make her happy when she clearly didn't care if I was. We drew a line that night. Caleb and I sat down and made a plan. A real one. No more involvement, I said. He nodded. Do you want to disinvite her? I hesitated. It felt extreme. Even after everything, the idea of not having my own mother at my wedding made my stomach twist. Would it feel incomplete? Would I regret it later? No, I finally said. But she's not getting anywhere near the planning again. So we emailed every single vendor. We gave them a list of approved contacts, and my mother's name was not on it. We created passwords. For major decisions, even our wedding planner switched to using a secure portal where only Caleb and I could approve changes. It felt good. It felt clean, like I had finally taken back ownership of my day. But, of course, my mother found out. She sent me a long, guilt-soaked email about how hurt she was. How she just wanted to help. How I was shutting her out for no reason. And then came the threat. Again. Maybe I shouldn't come at all. Only this time. I replied with, that's your choice, Mom, but my decision stands. Operation Sabotage. Then came the passive-aggressive phase. The one where someone claims to be above it all, but they're secretly trying to burn your life down from the sidelines. She started talking to other family members, cousins, aunts, even my grandmother. She told them I was having a meltdown, that I was completely ungrateful, and that she was heartbroken over being excluded. How do I know this? Because my Aunt Margaret called me. She opened with, Sweetie, is it true you told your mother not to come to the wedding? What? No, I said. That's not what happened. I explained the whole situation, how she'd interfered, manipulated. Vendors changed my playlist. Tried to expand the guest list without my consent. Aunt Margaret paused, then said, well, I can see why you'd be upset. But you know how your mother is. Yes, I do. That's exactly the problem. A new villain appears, I thought. Things couldn't get more dramatic. Then came the bridal shower. My maid of honor. My best friend Lexi threw the most beautiful garden party you could imagine. There were wildflowers in mason jars, string lights, a gorgeous cake shaped like a flower crown. And then my mom showed up. Uninvited. Wearing white. Again. But this time it was worse. She brought a +1. a man none of us recognized. He was in his mid-50s, slick hair, smelled like expensive cologne and ego. "This is Richard," my mom said loudly, as if making a public announcement. "He's my new friend. I hope you don't mind me bringing him." I minded. The bridal shower was supposed to be just women. A chance for my closest friends and relatives to celebrate with me. And she turned it into a social debut for her new, whatever Richard was. Richard, by the way, spent most of the party bragging about his yacht and business connections. He called Lexi's charcuterie board cute. He asked one of my bridesmaids how old she was twice, and my mother, she acted like she was the guest of honor, interrupted speeches, gave her own toast dot, and referred to me as her little project. Breaking point after the shower, I didn't text her. I didn't call. 2 days later, she sent me a long, dramatic voice note about how I'd embarrassed her in front of Richard by not being more warm. She accused me of being cold, said I was emotionally withholding, said I was lucky she even wanted to be involved. Given how I'd treated her, that was the moment I knew I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't even respond. I forwarded the message to Caleb with one sentence: "I think I'm done." The ultimatum. Part 2, I called my therapist. Yes, I have one half for years, because being raised by someone like my mom means you're in constant emotional recovery. We talked it out. I cried. For the first time in weeks, not because I missed her, but because I was finally letting go of the fantasy that she'd ever change. My therapist said something that stuck with me. Setting a boundary isn't about getting someone else to behave. It's about deciding what you will tolerate. So I made a choice, a real one. I drafted an email, not emotional, not angry, just clear. Subject: the wedding. Hi, Mom. I wanted to follow up after the bridal shower. At this point, I need to be honest about how your actions have impacted me in this process. From altering vendor decisions without permission to creating drama within the family and ignoring boundaries, it's become emotionally exhausting. This is a joyful time in my life, and I'm choosing to protect that. If you would like to attend the wedding as a guest, you're welcome. But I ask that you not attempt to contact any vendors, make speeches, or bring uninvited guests. Any behavior to the contrary will result in you being asked to leave. I hope you understand. My name. She didn't reply, not for 3 days. Then she sent back a thumbs up emoji, just that. No words. The silent countdown for the next month. She went quiet. Too quiet. No texts. No calls. No dramatic emails or pop-ins. My phone was a ghost town. I half expected her to show up somewhere uninvited again, but nothing happened. Was she planning something? Or was she actually respecting the boundary? I didn't know. And it made me nervous. Caleb and I continued planning, and despite the emotional chaos, the wedding was shaping up beautifully. The vendors were amazing. My dress was perfect. The playlist was back to what we wanted, yes, including Taylor Swift, and still no sign of Sabotage. Until 2 days before the wedding. That's when she called. "Can we talk?" Her voice was soft. "Almost meek. I got your email," she said. "I read it a few times. I waited, and I'll respect it," she continued. "I'll be there. I won't interfere. I promise." I felt my chest unclench, just a little, but I didn't speak. She added, "But I was hoping I could see you before the wedding. Just for coffee. No drama. Just talk." Everything in me screamed no, but I agreed. I don't know why. Closure. Hope? Maybe some small part of me still believed she could surprise me. Part 3. The coffee before the storm, the day before the wedding. I sat in a quiet corner booth at the tiny cafe near my apartment. It was the kind of place with mismatched chairs and hand-painted mugs. The sort of cozy that made big conversations feel a little softer. I chose the seat facing the door. I wanted to see her coming. I arrived 15 minutes early. Caleb offered to come with me, to sit nearby just in case. But I said no. This needed to be my moment. My terms. She arrived 10 minutes late, wearing white. Of course, a white silk blouse, white trousers, pearl earrings. She looked like someone stepping onto a movie set, composed, perfect, carefully curated to make A statement without saying a word. No, small talk. She sat across from me without a hello. Just a tight smile and a dramatic sigh. I wasn't sure you'd come, she said. I said I would. She nodded like she was doing the math. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. A beat of silence passed. I let her sit in it. I wasn't going to fill the air for her. That's what I'd always done. Filled the space between us with words, humor, apologies. Not today. Finally, she cleared her throat. I'm not here to fight, she said. I want you to know that none of this was meant to hurt you. I held her gaze. It did, though. Her expression tightened. I know, but my intentions were. I'm not here to talk about your intentions, I interrupted. I'm here because I need to tell you how it felt. She blinked, clearly surprised that I'd taken control so quickly. And then I spoke. I told her everything. Slowly, calmly. No shouting, no insults, just truth. I explained how her actions changing things behind my back, inviting people without asking, showing up unannounced had made me feel like a guest at my own wedding. I told her about the exhaustion, the guilt, the confusion. I told her how it felt to have to explain her behavior to vendors, to my friends, to Caleb's family. I told her that the bridal shower had crossed the line. Her response, she sat in silence as I spoke. And when I finished, there was a long pause. Then she did something unexpected. She started to cry. Not her usual controlled, single tear performance. Real, messy tears. She pressed a napkin to her face and said, I didn't know you felt like that. I thought I was helping. It cracked something in me. Not enough to make me forgive everything, but enough to feel a pang of old daughterly instinct. Comfort her. Make her feel better. But I didn't, because this wasn't about making her feel better. Not anymore. She wiped her eyes and looked at me. I guess I don't know how to be the kind of mother you need. That I didn't expect. A real moment. I took a breath. You could start, I said, by asking what that looks like, instead of deciding for me. She nodded slowly. I thought I was supposed to guide you, she said. I thought that's what mothers do. Maybe when I was 10, I said, but I'm not 10 anymore. I'm getting married tomorrow, and all I needed was for you to support me, not manage me. Another pause. Then she said, do you still want me there? I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't my mother, the unstoppable force of opinions and criticisms sitting across from me. She was a woman flawed, uncertain, and for once not trying to win. Yes, I said, but only if you come as a guest. Not the star, not the planner, just my mom, sitting in the second row, clapping, smiling, not making it about you. She nodded. I can do that. The promise. I stood to leave. She stood too. And then, for the first time in what felt like years, she didn't hug me. She just said, I'm proud of you. I didn't expect that, and I didn't trust it, but it was something. Caleb's face when I got home. Caleb was waiting on the couch, nervously scrolling his phone. He stood as soon as I walked in. So? She's coming, I said. But she said she'll behave. He raised an eyebrow. Do you believe her? I don't know. But I told her there are consequences if she doesn't. He came over and kissed my forehead. You're incredible, you know that? I smiled, but inside I felt like I'd just run a marathon barefoot the night before that evening. My best friend Lexi and my bridal party came over for one last night of calm before the storm. There were face masks, champagne, matching pajamas. At one point, someone put on Taylor Swift and we danced around the living room like teenagers. It was perfect for one night. I let it all go. No drama, no boundaries, just joy. I went to bed feeling like maybe it would all be okay. The envelope, the morning of the wedding, I woke up to a knock on my apartment door. It was the doorman holding a small white envelope. It was left downstairs for you. He said no return address inside. A letter. From my mom. Dear, my name. I wanted to write this instead of say it tomorrow. Because I know it's your day, and I want you to have the peace and joy you deserve. I'm sorry for everything. For the ways I tried to control, to insert myself, To rewrite what should have been your story, I realize now that I was clinging to something, not just the wedding, but to you. To the idea that if I stayed involved, I'd stay important. That was selfish. You are important all on your own. You've grown into someone brave, clear-eyed, and stronger than I ever imagined. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be quiet. I'll clap. I'll cry discreetly. And I'll be proud. I love you. Mom, I read it twice, then I cried because for the first time, she wasn't trying to win Dot, she was letting go. And maybe that was the biggest gift she could have given me. Part 4, the wedding day. The morning sun broke through the curtains like a spotlight, illuminating the soft white dress that hung from my closet door. It felt surreal. After months of planning, tears, and negotiations, today was the day. I stared at it in silence for a moment. My heart thudded in my chest, not just with anticipation, but with fear. Would she really behave? Would anything go smoothly? Lexi came up behind me, wrapping her arms around my waist. You ready to be a wife? She whispered. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I think I am. Getting ready, the bridal suite was buzzing with energy. My bridesmaids flitted around like pastel butterflies, sipping mimosas, curling hair, steaming dresses. A photographer snapped candids while a playlist of soft acoustic love songs played in the background. I sat still as the makeup artist dabbed highlighter onto my cheekbones. You got that glow, she said. The real one, not just the foundation. I smiled faintly. But inside, I was counting seconds. I hadn't seen my mom yet. And the closer we got to the ceremony, the more my nerves screamed. What if he made a scene?